Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well-being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we are back with another kinda episode of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. And I just want to say we hit 1 year. Yep, July 8th makes 1 year of us adjusting together, and I am making this episode to say thank you and just like a highlight of like past episodes that have done well, topics that have done well, and things like that. So before we get to all of that, again, thank you to TJ from Tea with TJ podcast for editing and for helping me get everything off the ground this past year. We still have some work to do with like my guest setup and stuff. So thank him. Thank you. Follow him and his podcast. I believe season 4 has launched or is launching soon. Thank you to, who else am I thanking? I don't have any partnerships with sponsors. Thank you to my future sponsors for listening to this episode. I'm looking forward to working with you as well. All right, so if you want to continue to support me and my other platforms, you can follow my vegan wellness page, which is my vegan lifestyle page, Earthy and Cultured, and then my branding and marketing page, which is Type J Marketing, my men's fashion page, which I can't log into for some reason, but it's a Detailed Gentleman, and follow my road to Broadway at Justin G. Nelson. I haven't booked a show, but I'm really manifesting it. Like, it's coming very soon, and I'm really happy for it. So before we get to the thank yous and updates and a special announcement, let's breathe together. We're going to do one sacred breath today because this is not a heavy episode. Like, this is just a recap episode. And plus, I am getting over a cold, so I can't talk that long. So, short episode, but impactful, okay? So if you're driving, focus. Thank you. If you are home and able to take this one sacred breath with me, I invite you to do so, okay? So relax your feet, spread them just to get grounded. Relax your ankles, your knees, your thighs, your hips. Relax your stomach, relax your chest, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Relax your chin and your cheeks. Relax your forehead and close your eyes. We're going to do a deep breath in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8. You ready? Let's go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. We did it. Great. All right. So we made it a year. I think it's been a total of 26 episodes. And here are the top 5. Number 1, coming in with 129 downloads. Adjusting your sexual positions. That one did numbers on Spotify. But on YouTube, adjusting your spiritual journey or adjusting your spiritual practice, whatever it was, that, like, I got some good engagement over there. I was shocked. Well, I wasn't shocked. I feel like sex and church are two things that can either do really well on a podcast or hurt your podcast. And I was very safe with how I went about presenting both of those topics. So that's a goal of mine for season 2. Well, the rest of season 2 and season 3 is to get some faith-based leaders on here from all denominations and backgrounds and platforms to really talk about that. And then get some, I don't say sex workers, but people who are of different sexual orientations on the platform to talk about their adjustments and how mental health has affected that for them. So I'm excited. The other 4 episodes that did well. Number 2 was the journey to adjusting. So my first episode, and I think a lot of people were just coming on because they were curious. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, another person with a podcast. And then the numbers dropped off because I guess I wasn't talking about enough gossip and juicy stuff that people just lost interest. It's fine because the people who needed to hear it stayed, and I am grateful. So thank you for staying. And then adjusting your worth, adjusting your anxiety, and the last one was adjusting to NYC. Those were the top 5 episodes. Now, with that being said, the top topics that I think were major takeaways for us: boundaries. Yeah, boundaries were it was like the most discussed thing. Your inner child. I am still working to develop. I don't. I do want to write a book. I do want to write a book, but I think I want to like really get some more hands-on experience with working with the inner child. So the whole U pyramid was like one of my claim to fames from this first year, and I pray that over time it would develop into a book and a workshop, a conference, and those things. Like, I'm thinking big, you know. So that was another topic that was great. Something else was the attachments. So like anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, secure attachment, dysfunctional attachment. Like a lot of people loved that topic, and I was like, okay, good. We're becoming more aware of those things. Another topic that was pretty popular was just the goals one I did recently. A lot of people said thank you for this check-in. It was real timely, and I do branding and marketing, so I knew coming mid-year with that episode was great. So kudos to me for thinking. Um, and then everyone else just loved just the transparency and the relatability with imposter syndrome, perfectionism, your work-life balance, and things like that. So thank you for that feedback and for that input. So with that being said, if you know of anyone who would be a great guest on the podcast, please let me know. Because as much as I love sitting here in my phone, my microphone, my desk, and this light, I do want to talk to people. Like, I want to sit and have some conversations with people because I feel like that will give more insight to these topics. My goal with adjusting has always been to provide the listeners with something that they can listen to in between therapy. Like if they went into therapy talking about imposter syndrome or boundaries, and it's just like, yeah, but like I need more. Come to my podcast. Come to my podcast. You can listen to it. It's like, okay, great. So this was something like a in between, you know? So that was great. But yeah, they can send me an email, shoot me a DM, wherever, and say, hey, I'm interested in being a guest. I will send them a form, fill it out, and then we can figure out a time to chat. I'm still trying to work out the logistics, and it's hot in New York. So, like, recording it here with 2 people is a lot. But with that being said, if y'all want to donate, because I need some more equipment, let me know because I'll drop my Cash App or Venmo. And I'm not ashamed. You know, we are not ashamed. And yeah, I need another mic stand and another stool over here. That's about $70 that I don't have right now, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're going to get it. I do want to take this time to share with you all a new thing that's coming. Justin, you're doing a lot. Listen, this is nothing really new. Like it's been there. I just haven't told many people about it. So I have launched Pacific Cup Studio. Thank you. So Pacific Cup Studio is basically the house that holds everything that I do. So it's the name of my studio, which houses adjusting, type J marketing, earthy and cultured, myself as a performer, and my men's fashion page. Ta-da! I'm just thinking big. You know, I'm thinking long term. So Pacific Cup, it comes from a therapy session, shout out to them, that I had that basically said, um, I was dealing with imposter syndrome about juggling everything that I'm working on and not getting the recognition I thought I deserved at the time. because we talk about shining your light and adjusting your light and really being seen and positioning yourself to be seen. And I didn't feel like the position was right. I felt like I was still hiding behind something, and I was frustrated. And I said, I'm really annoyed with the fact that I'm not getting the support I deserve, or I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And my therapist said, hold on. Like, of all my clients, I feel like you have been the most consistent with what you're working on. And also, you succeed in everything you do. And I was like, I do. I do. And I don't toot my horn enough. So this is me tooting my horn. I really do succeed at mostly everything I put my mind to. So they said to me, what you possess and what you create cannot be contained in a cup. You need something as big as the ocean. And I said, okay. Is this like a therapy thing? And they said no. So I sat with it, just like I said with the name of this podcast episode, or the podcast title. And God said to me, name it after an ocean. So at first I was like, Atlantic Ocean. He was just like, why are you thinking small? I was like, well, it's big. Pacific Ocean. Yeah. So I got Pacific Ocean. So that's Pacific Cup Me Studio. Pacific Cup Studio. So that is the mother of all of my brands, and I'm excited to see how this grows. And I've noticed like a lot of celebrities have studio companies. So like Cynthia Erivo has one, Kevin Hart, Tabitha Brown, Will Smith, Issa Rae. So I'm just, putting my stuff out there to be like them. I try to model after them since everybody and their grandma getting a podcast now, which is fine though. It's fine. So I'm throwing this into the episode today because I wanted to just make sure it was something that you can take away from it. Not just a thank you, but I want to give you some resources. So as I have been building out this platform, I do want it to be like resources for you all to read. So I've fallen back in love with reading, and in doing so, I've collected a lot of self-help books. Because like it's one thing to get it in therapy, but to have it in writing and to understand like professionals and people in the field who are actually creating work about it, like this is what inspired the whole You Pyramid. Here are some books that I've read or am reading to really help with these episodes and topics. So the first one is It Didn't Start With You, and this book was recommended by a good friend of mine, and it talks about intergenerational trauma and how a lot of stuff that we are triggered by or find to be like issues that we're dealing with, like where did this come from? It didn't start with you. It came from unresolved and unhealed trauma from the past that, because it wasn't named or dealt with, it became your burden. And that's why I'm proud that I started therapy. Not saying that like my parents had trauma and stuff that they dealt with, but there is a thing with like the Black community, like not being able to communicate your feelings or issues and having to just give people the cold shoulder, or you build these grievances and this silence within the family where you don't want to talk about things. And then people just become outcast, and then that cause friction or a feud within the family. And this, while this doesn't really speak to like the Black side of things, it is a great way to just identify and notice the things that come up with family dynamics and just trauma in general. And he gives great insight on how to name it and deal with it. And my therapist always says like some things you can't heal from, but you know how to work with it. And it goes with the container episode that I talked about a few weeks ago. So It Didn't Start With You is a great book. Rest is Resistance. I hated this book at first. I will say I hated this book at first because I was offended. I was just like, as someone who's a creative, who works 4 jobs and has multiple streams of income, which is not a flex. It's like a survival thing. When do I get to rest? And I had to get to the end. You have to finish this book. You cannot stop in part 1 or 2. You have to finish this book in order to fully appreciate the manifesto of it all. And I talked about this before, but this book is great, and I recommend it for church groups as well, because it gives a lot of spiritual downloads with it. Because Tricia Hersey is, I think she's a licensed minister. She comes from a church background. So I really, really enjoyed this one. Especially with where we are now with capitalism and the society and social media and things like that. This book is great. I will never, ever, 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 ever stop ranting about Homecoming. Homecoming is like all about love times 10 almost. Like, it's in that same world. Dr. Thema Bryant did her best one with this one. And I may reread this book by itself. Just like different chapters within it. There was one chapter in this book. Let me just read this. A roadmap for dismantling the fear and shame that keep you from living a free and authentic life. Like, think about that for 13 chapters. I think it's 13 chapters. Let me check. Yeah, 13 chapters. You talked about building self-confidence, spiritual practices, mourning invisible losses, healing from breakups and divorce, coping and healing from a toxic workplace, recovering from childhood trauma, resisting oppression, reparenting yourself. Like, this book, and the audio version of it is just so good. Like, I think there were moments I was walking and crying because it just felt like a cleansing of the spirit. So get this book, especially if you're doing some inner child work or you're having to reparent yourself. Again, I am blessed to have parents who were there. And I will say, like, my dad and I had a great relationship. I don't recall us like having deep conversations, but he was always there. This is a new book for me, Owning Our Struggles, A Path to Healing and Finding Community in a Broken World. This is from Minna B. I met her at CultureCon last year, and she was on a panel. She's a social worker. Yeah, licensed medical social worker. And I was just like, I'm going to get her book. I'm going to support her. I would love to get her on my podcast, though. Mm-hmm. So I haven't read this one yet, but based on the back of the book, it says, Owning Our Struggles is a book that fills in so many gaps often present in traditional self-help books, which tend to overemphasize the importance of the self in healing and underestimate the importance of community and culture. Through storytelling, reflections, and practical exercises, Minna B teaches us how to own our own struggles so that our struggles no longer own us. Okay, so I will definitely read this before the end of the year so I can give you an honest recap. I feel like this is loud in the microphone. I'm sorry, TJ. Okay, so Owning Our Struggles, that's another good book. Break the Cycle. Break the Cycle. This is another book my therapist recommended to me. Basically about intergenerational trauma, a guide to healing intergenerational trauma. Basically, self-explanatory. I haven't read this one either. I did download it on Audible, so I'm gonna do what's it called? Immersive read. So I listen to it and follow along with it with the physical book at the same time. Excited for that one. High Functioning, with a foreword by my girl, Mel Robbins. My assistant pastor recommended this book to me because we were talking about high functioning anxiety and high functioning depression. So I got this book. I read the foreword, and I was just like, I can't. It's like, I can read romance books in a day. Self-help books, I have to sit because I get attacked, But high functioning, Dr. Judith Joseph offers a framework for what so many are feeling and just assume is life. So I never did a episode about like adjusting to like high functioning depression or high functioning anxiety, but this book really touches on it. And she's so well, she's so healthy, she's so something. podcast had her on as a guest, and she did one little like 30-second clip from the episode, and I was like, Judith, please. Like, I know I don't have that many viewers and followers yet, but we can really have a good conversation. Another book by Dr. Thema Bryant, which is Matters of the Heart, Healing Your Relationship with Yourself and Those You Love. I haven't read this one. I got it just to support her because we're besties in my head, but I want to read that one. And a lot of these books are about like healing yourself and what the work you can do. And I was telling my mom when I was home recently, just basically that, a lot of the work we do or the boundaries we set or the conversations we have are for us. And that's the one time in our life where we can be selfish. Like when we are setting a boundary, the boundary is for us. When we are getting something off our chest, it's for us. What the person who you set the boundary for or the conversation, that's their problem then. Like you have done what you needed to do to find peace. And it's not from a place of manipulation. It's just from a place of no longer carrying the stress or the burden that they put upon you because of what they expected for you to do. This episode was not supposed to be a deep episode. It was supposed to be a thank you episode, but I just felt in my heart that I need to say something. Also, there are a few more books behind me that I didn't grab. One is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. 10 out of 10 recommend that book. And then there's another book, The Body Is Not an Apology. That's a book I'm reading for the Sex, Shame, and Spirituality platform, which basically talks about like loving your body for what it is. And speaking about body, I really, really want to encourage you all to rest. I've had 3 people close to me either have a medical emergency to where they had a stroke or a heart attack, and life is lifing. And I really want you all to just take a moment to just breathe and disconnect. Not even touch grass, just sit on the couch and just allow your body to just let go of the stress and find someone to talk to. Please find someone to talk to get that off your plate and off your mind, because stress is a silent killer. And a stroke or a heart attack will creep up on you and you won't even know it. Okay. So I didn't want to get deep this episode, but I did want to share some resources with you. And reading these books really just makes me feel grounded and inspired and enlightened that there are other people who are also on this path. So be on the lookout because y'all might see a Whole You Pyramid by Justin G. Nelson coming soon from Adjusting Podcast. Like y'all can see, it's an orange book. Picture this orange book, okay? And it got like 3 pyramids on it. And then it has like a little orange and tan. That's like what I see. And then Whole You Pyramid from Adjusting Podcast with yeah, great. All right, so okay, back to the episode. So yeah, thank you all for sticking with me for this year. I'm working on the rest of season 2 with guests. I am working on season 3 as well and trying to build out the secondary platform. I'm going with the name Sex, Shame, and Spirituality because that's just what really resonates with me. So that platform will be about just removing the shame associated with sex. And a lot of people are afraid to talk about sex. And it's not like I'm promoting. There's another podcast, like they literally do that on their platform. No, this is just healthy conversations about the sacred aspect of sex and removing the shame that comes with exploring your curiosity. And as someone who was bullied as a child and labeled as everything but myself, I can talk about it, okay? So that's going to be great. And I do have a few people lined up to talk about it. So I'm excited to launch that whenever it launches. I don't know when it'll launch, okay? It'll be when it's supposed to be. So yeah, you can donate so I can get some more equipment. My birthday is Thursday. I'll be 36. Happy birthday to me. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all, there's not much to take away from the episode other than please go listen to previous episodes, because that'll help get some more downloads and views and like really bring some traffic to the page, because then I can get sponsors and partnerships, and then all of that'll trickle down. So yeah, thank you. Short episode. Go and enjoy the rest of your day. Until next time. Next week, we're talking about adjusting your wires. Yeah, this is going to be about intergenerational trauma. And yeah, I'm excited. All right. So until next time, keep adjusting. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.